Good morning, dear listeners. Welcome to KN Energy's Investor Relations Conference. I'm Emilia from Nasdaq Vilnius, and I'll be moderating today's event. We will start with the presentation from the management, which will be followed by the Q&A session. Please be informed that this webinar is being recorded and will be available on the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel. I encourage everyone to submit questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. You can submit them either anonymously or with your name. With that said, I am pleased to introduce today's presenter, Tomas Tumėnas. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's nice to see the participants and looking forward for the tomorrow's celebration that we will have and maybe longer weekend. I'm happy to present the 6 months results of KN Energy. And let's start. I will make a short introduction how we'll present. We would like to show some highlights on the development of the energy sector, energy segment in Baltics, as well as in the world, to touch main key things that's happening. Also to touch upon the key components, I would say, of macro environment that directly and indirectly affects the company's performance. Then I will give a very short summary overview of the business segments, how we are performing, how we performed within the last 6 months, and as well as some facts about our financial results. And we'll be happy to answer your questions. So let's start. Let's start from the main KPIs, I would say, our main highlights that I would like to point out. So if we start from the bottom of profit loss statement, as usually, so taking and talking about the revenues, the first 6 months revenues of the company reach around 43 million euros. And actually we are slightly above of the last year. And very important to note that almost 20 million of revenues came from our commercial activities. And this is a really good achievement because the commercial activities are very important for the company's development. And looking forward in the next forthcoming years, looking into our strategy, long-term strategy, the development of commercial activities, I would say, are one of the key for the company's success driving forces for the revenues increase and for the profitability. So commercial activities grew by almost 13% versus the last year and almost by 10% versus the budget. If we take a regulated business activity, which accounts approximately to 57% of the revenues, it's the biggest so far. Business segment, LNGT, the revenues remained almost stable, being precisely slightly less than the last year. And one of the key reasons are those that our independence, our vessel, which you see on the screen, has been in the dry dock, and I will touch in more details in following slides. So from revenues point of view, company was, I would say, on the stable level, but taking into account growing commercial activities, this should be regarded as successful factor. The company's EBITDA grew 30% versus the last year, and we reached around 22 million euros in revenues, in EBITDA amount. The biggest part of the EBITDA, more than approximately up to 60%, came from regulated business activity, and specifically 57%, and from commercial activity 43%. If we compare commercial activities contribution to EBITDA, it grew from 40% that we had last year to 43%. So this is again, growth in commercial activities revenues directly affects company's profitability and EBITDA ratio. And looking forward, of course, our aim, long-term goal is to increase the share of commercial activities into EBITDA. As of current ones, 43% to reach definitely 0.5% and even higher, up to 60% in the long term. Because, as I said, this is the key drivers for the company's long-term strategy and its success. Net profit, adjusted net profit, please be reminded that adjusted net profit excludes impact of foreign exchange into our profit loss statement, because we will be able to acquire by the end of this year the FSRU, and our acquisition price is nominated in dollars. Therefore, fluctuation of exchange rate euro versus dollars has direct effect on the profit loss statement. So if we exclude that forex impact, which was in the first half amounted to 5.7 million of loss in forex, adjusted net profit was 6.3 million euros, and as you see, it's almost 2 million above of the last year. So basically, about a brief intro regarding our, let's say, financial performance. If we took on the business side, the first half of the year was really successful, especially for commercial activities. First of all, as you know, we already issued the notice via the stock exchange. We won 4 contracts of floating LNG terminals in Germany out of 5. So KN Energy has secured long-term contracts with the Deutsche Energy Terminal Operator, state-owned company DET, that as we're calling. So we have 4 agreements for long-term contracts on operating for floating terminals in Germany. Plus, on top, we won also technical contract of one of the out of 4 terminals. So this is really good and big achievement, and it shows big efforts and big, let's say, professionalism of the KN Energy team. And it's really that we are proud not only as a company, but I would say proud as a country as well, because we are we're exporting our grains and our expertise abroad. So we managed to put into our export markets, our commercial activities, our global business, not only Brazil, as you know, we already have Brazil for more than 1.5 years in our portfolio, so we added Germany as well. And looking forward, German market is very important. It's one of the biggest, of course, markets in LNG business in Europe, definitely as the biggest economy of Europe. Germany is, so our presence is really a very big one, very beneficial for the company, and we are really wanted to expand beyond of our current let's say obligations, and it's only the start. So we see that market and opportunities for the further grow very, let's say, prosperous, and this is where we will focus in the next 5 years. The last news is that the company established a daughter company. It will be called KN Deutschland Energy, KN Energy Deutschland, which will operate those terminals. Also on new energy business segment, we have a small business segment created very recently, New Energies. Here we are focused mainly on carbon capture activities, and important news is that Lithuania has been granted common interest, let's say, status of carbon capture business activities, which KN Energies leads, and we are like front runners for having that consortium. And also this is only the start for new energy business, for a particular carbon capture activity, and as well I would say the path is quite lengthy in the future, and also we have big ambitions here to expand the business, and nearest future will show us, and of course we will announce that into the public how we're succeeding. On regulated business, also we had important things. Our vessel, this is how we're calling, has been in let's say in dry dock in the beauty saloon, and the vessel spent 1.5 months, and we renovated that, refurbished that. So It's already in Klaipėda. Came back home to the Klaipėda port, Klaipėda harbor, and we are ready to, for the acquisition of the vessel, which will happen at the end of this year, in particular on the 6th of December. Also, the recent news is that the regulator increased the WACC, which we have at the moment, from 5% to 6.5%. That will give us additional revenues, additional income into our, let's say, regulated business portfolio, and that also is very important for the company's profitability and the cash flow. So small update on the global market. Basically, we are watching from business perspective, also from financial perspective, on several things, because they are very important for us, and we exclude three of them. One is the exchange rate, dollar versus euro, and then of course this is the natural gas price and carbon permit prices, because all these three components directly and indirectly affects the company's performance. And I will make a small comment how it look like, how it affects on the performance. So as you see, let's say from the foreign exchange fluctuation, it was quite big, and someone who is also interested in the foreign markets and tracing the exchange rate fluctuations, they are very, very volatile. And as I said, we will need to acquire our vessel, and it is nominated in US dollars. So for us, the exchange rate fluctuation is very important, because we will buy in euros, and our loan, which is secured by Lithuanian government, and it's already agreed with the Northern Investment Bank, also is nominated in euro, and we have a cap. Our cap is 138 million euros, and the price of the vessel is $153.5 million. So definitely fluctuation affects in one another way. And for example, if we have a ratio, we have 1.6. So like our direct loss could be at that exchange rate around 6 million euros. And if we take the last one in the graph, 1.7, it's almost 4 million euro. And if we take today's rate, it's only 1 million. What it means, as I said, direct impact on our profit loss statement, and also direct impact on our cash flow, because what is above 134 million euros, 138 million euros, we will need to give from our let's say coffers, from our pockets. Therefore, we're watching carefully the exchange rate, and we are in negotiations with the energy regulator, and hope after when the law in the parliament this summer has been passed, allowing us to hedge and to include the results of the hedge hopefully into regulated asset base, which we will need to agree and to have the final verdict for the national regulator. This is our aim. And our aim is, of course, is to secure the exchange rate as best as possible in the market, and to pass on to our end of consumers the best rate that we could obtain in the market. This is very important. And the gas itself, of course, fluctuation is not so. It's quite steep, but maybe it's not everyday big fluctuation. It impacts our variable costs. And KN Energy usually hedges the gas at the beginning of the season. So here we are more or less secured. But as you see in the recent trends, the gas price in the market grows because of the many reasons, and the future shows also increased trend for the gas prices, especially in forthcoming autumn and winter. Carbon permits, as we operate the business, which is, let's say, makes pollutions, and we need to buy the permits, and it impacts also our performance quite a lot. So we are hedging in that sense, that we are looking on the prices of the EU permits and trying to find the best one time for the entering into the hedge, not exactly hedge, but buying the permits and securing, because we have certain quantity which we need during the year, over the year, to purchase. So currently our average price of the acquisition is 68 euros per carbon permit, and it's much more better than we had last year. And after that action, especially if we compare to the prices which we paid last year, and we paid and we had in our budget, we are saving 0.6 million euros. So this is very as well important, as the total costs of the permit accounts to almost 5% of our total costs of the group. So actually, basically, I touched upon the development of the energy, especially gas worldwide situation, and here the graph shows the differences of the price trends for the gas in the different markets and major events. This is just for information for you and for investors which would be keen on knowing. I'll be happy to answer later on or separately. But as you see, our environment is quite in which we operate is really fluctuated. It's very, let's say, vulnerable, I would say, and all energy sector operates under quite vulnerable market conditions, and every day it needs to adapt and to make appropriate decisions in order to secure the profits and to mitigate the risks. So if here we can start very briefly upon our business segment. So regulated activity I already mentioned. In terms of the revenues, we are quite flat, slightly below on the revenue level of the last year, because of the simple factor that our vessel was in the beauty procedures, which I mentioned, and we has not been operating it almost 1.5 months. Therefore, definitely the volumes of regasification declined versus the last year, and it was definitely predicted into the budget, and this is nothing new, but simply explaining the overall situation. This is one of the reasons. But so far we managed to unload 30 ships and to unload almost 800 billion of cubic meters of natural gas. And as you see, it's below of the last year because already mentioned reason. So important to notice, to send the message that as I already mentioned again, the vessel is ready for the acquisition. Everything is checked. It's operated well. So we will acquire in a very good condition, a good vessel, and we are happy about that and prepared for this very important strategic, I would say, strategic move for the whole Lithuanian energy sector. And KN Energy will be the operator, owner, ultimate owner of our Indie. And Indie, as you know, is really good example how many years ago was made very profound, looking forward decisions to secure our energy sector, and also not only to secure, but allowing us to export our brains, our expertise in the foreign markets. Liquid energy market, as you see, if we take brief look from the market situation. So in the Baltic Sea ports, meaning Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, this year, first half of this year, still we are declining in the volumes of the liquid energy products transshipped via all ports. But despite of that, KN Energy volumes are very close to the last year. So our decline is less than the total decline of the ports. Again, here, as you see, the Klaipėda port, I would say, performed comparing with other Baltic ports in total better. Of course, it's anyway declining by 6.5% in the volumes, but it's much less than as you see in our neighboring ports. And KN Energy loading of liquid energy products are less. In terms of we are declined less than total market. So this is again, it's like a signal that we are managing better or performing better than the total business environment at the moment. If let's say you give some figures, if our transshipment of oil products decline by 3.3% versus the last year in terms of the quantity, we transshipped 1.9 million tons of liquid energy this year versus 1.95 of the last year. The volume-wise, we sold the volume-wise. Not volume-wise, but on the revenue level, the sales of the liquid energy reached 14.6 million euros. And this is almost 3% above versus the last year. So the quantities declined, but the revenues increased. And the main reason is that we managed to negotiate with our clients on better terms of service fees, simply speaking. So this is also very important and shows companies' abilities, to adopt to the market. Despite of the declining the trend on the transshipped volumes, we managed to increase the service fee, and therefore on revenue level we are not declining. Actually, I mentioned almost everything that I wanted to say about liquid energy, but here maybe a couple points is that very interesting products we are managing. We are transshipping like bitumen products, like biofuels products, and we are calling them light oil products. And the tendency for light oil products versus the traditional ones, dark oil products, over the past couple years increasing. So that tendency will prevail in the next years as well, and the company sees that, and the company also prepares for this, because we need to have a certain different capacities and abilities and equipments while transshipping light oil products. And we're considering we have many, let's say, plans for our investments in the next 3-5 years, and one of the directions will be strengthening the reloading capacities at Klaipėda port, our port of bitumen and light oil products. So one of the directions of our investments will go into that area, because we see the market trend and the growing trend and the growing demand for those products in the future. So we came to a very interesting part, commercial LNG, and here basically is everything that is beyond Lithuania. And I'm very happy, as I mentioned, that we managed successfully to enter into Germany market. And of course, that happened not within one day. It was long-lasting efforts and performances of our team. And so finally, we managed to enter into the market, adding Germany on top to the, let's say, Brazil activities. And this is not, of course, the last things. So we really hope in the next couple of years to expand abroad in other different countries as well, because we have already the track record, and this is really important for the KN Energy. And again, I'm very proud that this is also its export of Lithuania, as well as an export for LNG business in the worldwide markets. And KN Energy are very known already as a company operating LNG business, knowing how to operate, and a lot of our clients looking forward, to cooperate with us. So here also definitely shows all that efforts into our results. And from commercial LNG sales, we had for the 6 months 4.3 million euros. And this is almost 1.8 times higher than we had last year. And definitely the future, I would say, it's bright here. And it doesn't mean that we don't have any challenges or things to overcome, but we have very solid ground for growing further. And export activities, not only for KN Energies and for the energy sector, but I would say for the whole Lithuania, the company's economy is strong as much as it could have strong presence in foreign countries and have capacities for export, especially taking into account our current political environment. So we are very proud of that, and I see good prospects of the commercial activities. And we are preparing for the business and for continuation of the business. As I said, it's only a start of the long journey. New energy is very, very small business segment. At the moment, we don't have sales here. We have only small costs related to the long-term projects. And one of them is carbon capture project, which already I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation. And it's really interesting one. It's very, I would say, up to date to what is happening in the energy markets. And I'm happy that we are at the beginning of that journey as well. We are trying to use all opportunities what is going on at the moment, and KN Energy is wanted to be the pioneer here from the Lithuanian perspective, from the Baltic perspective. And if real opportunity, real business cases will appear, I hope that we'll be the first ones which could use that business cases and make it alive and profitable for the businesses. Therefore, we already made a consortium of several companies in that direction, and we will start step-by-step investigation, deep investigation of that business case. Let's call it, and all our investments. A part of our company's investments will be directed into that activities, which we hope could, an optimistic case, be very profitable and successful, and also upfront runner in the whole European carbon capture market. Sustainability, it's worth to mention because it's really important for the KN Energies and used to be always. I'm happy that the company won a badge from NASDAQ of sustainability index 9.6. It's very high rank, I would say, and we are happy that again we are one of the upfront runners for sustainability business project, how to call it, transparency things. Because stakeholders, our shareholder, our board puts a lot of attention into this area, and as whole energy sector, it needs to to readapt, to reshape its activities. So we are not an exemption, and here KN Energy is doing the good things, good investments, and strong background for being carbon capture free till 2050. It's long journey, but it already shows that we're in a good track. So I'm very happy about that. Financial results, actually everything I mentioned, basically. Mentioned the revenues, the drivers for the revenues, EBITDA, the EBITDA drivers. Net profit, as you see, we had 1.5, but again, excluding the impact of. So basically, the 6 months are successful for the company's operations. Then the second half, I hope, will be nevertheless even maybe the better, not to give a concrete forecasts, but I hope that this year, as whole year for the company's activities, will be really good one, and allows us, to have everything in our pockets in order to prepare for our strategic implementation till 2030 and beyond. if we take some metrics on our profitability ratios, and maybe I will even just skip those, they are the facts. They are more or less reflects the average industry level in energy sector, because we are operating in capital intensive business environment, in the business environment with the heavy investments into the assets. And some information on our debtness, on our leverage ratios. Our total loans amounts, as you see, around 30 million euros. And after acquisition of the vessel, as I said, that will happen at the beginning of December, it will be financial loans will reach around 320 million euros. From one hand, it's quite a big amount, but from another hand, it's secured by the government. And if we recalculate the net debt to EBITDA level, we have quite high, but as I said, we have the government guarantees for that. And also we're carrying some positions in our cash, which we have together with deposits more than 60 million euros, and all our deposits are definitely invested into the, let's say, liquid instruments, basically high ranking deposit instruments. And they are, of course, earning money, not laying free. And looking from a very important debt service coverage ratio, which shows company's capacity to serve the loans, we have it quite high, reaching almost 5 times. It's really quite high, as you know, especially financial analysts. The normal one is around 1.5 times, maximum 2 times, because our loans are long-term in nature. They are lasting till 2044. But again, looking forward, taking into account our appetite for investments, of course, the company will go into the market for commercial loans in the nearest future, because we have investment projects, as I said, which we need to implement, and we, as normal business, need to, to leverage our cash flow situation, and to invest not only shareholders' money, but of course to use the lending facilities and for the projects, for different projects, for business maintenance projects, as well as for the projects which are profit-oriented, which will give additional profit for the whole KN operations and strengthen groups' financial view and financial capacities in the nearest future. So this is my presentation, information about the KN performance, about the market things, and I'm very happy to answer your questions if you will have those.
Thank you for your presentation. We will now proceed with the questions. Before that, I would like to remind everyone you can submit your questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. The first question we received was regarding the dividend policy. Are you planning to update the policy?
Yes, we will update that policy, and we will update afterwards when we will have final, let's say, let's call it final conditions approved by the ministries, by our shareholder. Let's put it this way, because we need to be here very clear, very transparent, definitely. And as the shareholder, the final shareholder, will make a decision, concrete decisions, we will update those. But as you know, we already paid for the last year the dividends. You know the amount of the dividends, the market knows. So it most likely would be in that direction.
Thank you. And the technologies and demand from the market are changing very rapidly. Are you planning your strategy plan 2023-2050 update in the near future?
Strategy plan, we are we have a like confirmed strategy, and every company, I would say, not even exception, Energy usually once per year updates the strategy because of the reasons again what you mentioned. So we we're already updating that, let's say, and basically we are in the line with the long-term strategy. But of course, some minor changes might happen, and we will make those announcements as soon as we will be ready to do that. But basically, we're in the same direction, and nothing dramatically is a different one, absolutely materially not. But it also confirms us that, we're on the right track. But since we once per year update, and it's needed because the market changes, and if material changes in strategy will appear, of course we will update the strategy, and we will announce that in our website, which is at the moment posted. Yes.
Thank you. The company now generates around 40 million euros of operating cash flow. How will it change when the FSRU will be bought out and the new RAB and WACC figures will come into power?
Basically, I would comment in this way that we will have a positive effect versus current situation. I would not say that it will be materially different, no materially big change, but it will be, of course, on positive side. This is my comment in brief.
Thank you. Will there be significant changes after December 2024 in EBITDA in each business line, regulated LNG, liquid terminals, commercial LNG for the upcoming years?
If we take a regulated business, as we as a KN Energy, we are not announcing publicly our forecasts. And of course, I'm very cautious about giving these hints, especially what relates to the things that it's beyond 2024. I would say if we take the second half of this year, the directions which I already described, what happened during the first half, it should remain. So directions, the trends should be the same. So you can make your own decisions, and what it will be beyond. As I said, our aim is really efforts is try to increase the revenues, definitely the revenues and EBITDA from commercial activities, to increase the share of commercial activities, of the share contribution share into EBITDA and to the revenue side. And that's obvious. So I don't want to give you any concrete things, directions, but this is the goal, let's say, of the management, the vision, and as well, this is in our strategy. So I hope that the things that we're doing at the moment lays strong background for that direction.
Thank you. And what are your RAB and WACC projections for the year 2026 and further? And do you see this current high WACC level sustainable?
Every year, the company, usually it's a usual procedure, it's a normal procedure, have negotiations with a regulator regarding asset base. And of course, the aim of the company, of course, to have the highest much as possible. But from another hand, it's again an interesting topic because this is the WACC. It's the price which company receive. Eventually, it comes from the end consumers, indirectly from the end consumers. So we again understand that situation, and we need to be as a company, how to say. Theoretically, we would like to have as big as possible, but in reality, the directions of the company to put is directed into the efficiency, let's say, because it's our aim. We need to operate as efficient as possible, and to, let's say, to have as less cost base on regulated activities because of the reasons why we are created and why we need to operate. We need to pass as less as possible cost to the consumer. So here it's like not not a thing that, it's not a thing that it's commercial 100%. It's also the thing of efficient operation of the company, because we have that on our shoulders, and this is our one of the missions, let's say. But of course, the cost increases, and we need to operate the regulated asset base, the vessel. We need to secure operations. We need to be upfront of the many things, and also we need to invest. We need to have the newest possible and also IT solutions in various activities, and that also into regulated business, because this is the market again. Otherwise, you can't sleep on and do nothing in simplified version. So the WACC, we will see. It's not like, to give long-term indication that we'll have 6% of WACC or 7% of WACC, but I would say this is a direction where it's could be at from 5.5 to 6. It's a more unsustainable level.
Thank you. And the next question is, can you disclose the approximate price of the FSRU sale purchase deal, and what will be the sources of financing?
So the price is $153.5 million. This is that we need for what we need to buy. This is the last piece of our lease, let's say lease payment. And we had secured the loan, as I mentioned, and our floor of the loan is 138.4 million euros.
Thank you. Question about the CEO. Why was it decided to search for a new CEO, and what stage is the process at right now?
Solely as we are a state-owned company, and we are a transparent company, and shareholder also is transparent energy, Lithuanian Energy Minister of Energy, and it's a normal logical procedure once per 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, to see and to look to make that procedure for renewing the position of CEO. And only what I can comment that our current CEO also participates in that process, let's say, and we hope that maybe even this month we will know the outcome of that procedure, let's say, of the decision of the shareholder.
Thank you. And the final question is, how big is the business of commercial NLG, and how are the projects in Germany going?
So as I mentioned, currently commercial business accounts, if we take 6 months actual results, 43% of total sales, and 47% of total sales, and 43% of EBITDA, contribution to EBITDA. And so this is the thing. What we had last year, as an example, the contribution to EBITDA of commercial activities accounted to 40%. Today is 43%. Not maybe big change, but still an upward trend. And as I mentioned, again, looking forward, we really would like to increase that contribution percentage from current 43 to 50 and even beyond. One thing, another, the German activities are, right now, as we won the contracts, right now we are in the process of simply starting the day-to-day business operations. What it means that right now we are in process of selecting people. We are already established. We are actually buying the company based in Germany, and this is the most efficient solution, which will operate those terminals. And we will have in a group of the companies another one, Deutschland, Germany company, operated in the Germany, based in the Germany. So everything is, I would say, according to the plan. And we are starting real business right now, looking for the people, looking for the staff, and already getting first income from our contracts. So it's the real business starts right now, and we'll have a lot of things to do in the nearest future. But we are secured in terms of the revenue intake, everything. And so day-to-day business, of course, it's very important to show to our partners that we are, successfully managing the business and fulfilling our obligations that we have. What we are doing at the moment with Brazil. So we are operating very successfully and managing the business and managing the risk also successfully. And this is really, really important.
Thank you. It looks like we've covered all the questions so far. If you would like to send in a question, please do so now. So as all questions have been answered, on behalf of KN Energies and Nasdaq Vilnius, thank you everyone. It was a pleasure being with you today. The recording of the presentation will be available on the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel. And thank you for a very informative conference.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. So have a good, longer weekend. Goodbye.